I was in talks with a group of Russian scientists about a year back, and they told me that 60% of mammography reports in Russia is already done by AI. And they proved it to me by asking me to upload a few images from our center. Of course, we anonymized the data and all that. And they said, give us 2 minutes for each report. And then you compare with the report which you've already issued to via your radiologists. Absolutely correct. Our problem is our population, right? So it compressed in a very small landmass. हम आज के दिन में I think 150 touching 150 crores today. So providing healthcare to 150 crores it's a huge challenge. Compared to that, I think the population of US, let's say, is probably 1/4 of this, if I'm not wrong. And they have resources way beyond what we possess.
बट ऐसा 1994 में क्या हुआ दैट चेंज योर माइंड टू स्टार्ट सन डायग्नोस्टिक एंड आज आफ्टर 20 इयर्स आपने वो सेंटर खोला है सो अभी इस दौरान आपको बहुत ज़्यादा चैलेंजेस आपने फेस किया होगा टू रन दिस एम्पायर इन फ्रॉम 1994 से 2020 अलॉन्ग विथ योर जॉब एंड एज अ प्रैक्टिसिंग डाइनिक सो उसमें व्हाट आर द मेजर चैलेंजेस लाइक वर्किंग एंड रनिंग अ सेंटर.
But yes, you are right. A lot of challenges, yes. Mainly in
Hello everyone. Welcome to your favorite health podcast called We Talk Health. Myself your host Dr. Samir और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं किसी बीमारी को ट्रीट करने के लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट एंड फर्स्ट स्टेप दैट इज डायग्नोस्टिक्स. और उसके बारे में बात करने के लिए आई हैव द मैन द लेजेंड हिमसेल्फ विथ मी डॉक्टर दीपक मित्रा who saw vision of starting the most famous diagnostic center in our state, that is Sun Diagnostics. And it's my honor to welcome sir on the show and to know what's the story behind starting this venture. Welcome sir on our show. Sir, 28 years से आप you are a gynec and obstetric doctor. But ऐसा 1994 में क्या हुआ that changed your mind to start Sun Diagnostic?
one was a very personal matter where a friend of mine needed a CT scan, sort of life-saving CT scan, and at Cuttack at that point of time, we could not find a place to do a CT scan of his brain to rule out a brain tumor. That was the day I decided that we should have a diagnostic center open 24 hours and probably provide all diagnostic services under one roof so that people like my friend lives would be saved. That was the first motivation which I had. The second, slightly smaller motivation was I worked in AIMS Delhi as a junior resident for a short period in 1989. And I was exposed to medical diagnostics there. Please remember at that time, Cuttack was pretty backward in diagnostics. When I returned from there, I was tuned to diagnostic services available in AIMS, and it will always be dream to do something similar at Cuttack as well. And Orissa as well. Yeah, that was the motivation.
Okay, so sir, according to जो आपके दोस्त के साथ जो हुआ था and he was unable to get a scan and आज after 20 years आपने वो सेंटर खोला है so अभी इस दौरान आपको बहुत ज़्यादा challenges आपने face किया होगा to run this empire in from 1994 से 2020 along with your job and as a practicing gynaec. So उसमें what are the major challenges like working and running a center?
But it's pretty small. But yes, you are right. A lot of challenges, yes. Mainly in setting up the centers because licensing is difficult in our country. So, and similarly in Odisha as well. Procurement of equipment. See, good equipment is difficult to procure. Pricing is also important because you really can't spend a lot in a state like Odisha to make it financially viable. And the most important thing is to obtain good after sales service for your equipment. These are the main challenges. Plus, recruiting doctors into understanding what advanced medical diagnostics is, and then somehow finding a way to convince them to send cases to us for diagnosis. These are the few challenges which we faced, but we overcame most of them, and things are much easier now. Yeah.
So like before this shoot, when we were talking, we were having a discussion. आप मुझे बता रहे थे कि from 2020, I think you stopped practicing, right?
No, earlier, 2019, I guess.
2019, because you had a vision कि अभी बस कटक वालों को नहीं, पूरा उड़ीसा में we will expand this thing, and then you had the plan of opening in Dhenkanal, Bhubaneswar, Jajpur, and other and Sambalpur, if I'm not wrong.
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने, बिकॉज मेरे एज में प्रैक्टिसिंग मेडिसिन एज अ स्पेशलिस्ट एंड कंट्रोलिंग ए बिजनेस और हो नहीं पाए.
मतलब हमको जो लगता है कि एज हो गया, हम बिजनेस शुरू नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ सर व्हाट आई फील कि एज इज जस्ट अ नंबर. बिकॉज कुछ भी उम्र हो जाए, इफ यू वांट टू स्टार्ट समथिंग, यू जस्ट नीड परसिवरेंस एंड ऑप्टिमिज्म टू स्टार्ट, राइट?
इट इज़ अ नंबर, यस, आई एग्री, टोटली एग्री विथ यू. एंड आप कभी भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं as long as you have to try. So yes, that is when I decided that I will keep my practice of medicine on the back burner, and then wholeheartedly dedicate myself with my years of experience in this field to try and provide good quality diagnostic services across the state.
तो सर, तो आपके हिसाब से जो कटक का सेंटर था, दैट वाज लाइक योर बीटा टेस्ट में आप वहाँ पे सब करते थे सो दैट यू कैन प्लान टू ओपन मोर 4 सेंटर्स, तो उसमें बहुत सारे अप्स एंड डाउन्स होंगे. सो मेरे हिसाब से व्हाट वर द डाउन्स एंड व्हाट वर योर अप्स, लाइक व्हिच केप्ट यू मोटिवेटेड टू ओपन मोर सेंटर्स?
अप्स ही थे, डाउन्स बहुत कम. जनरली डाउन्स तभी आते हैं जब आपका हाई वैल्यू मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट किसी कारण से ख़राब हो जाता है और उसका सर्विस आपको ठीक से ना मिले, तो तभी प्रेशर आता है. बट वो अगर आप ठीक से प्लानिंग करो तो इट्स पॉसिबल टू ओवरकम दैट एंड हैव अ स्मूथ सेलिंग. जस्ट टू क्लैरिफाई, 1994 में हम जब शुरू किए कटक डायग्नोस्टिक सेक्टर, तो उस टाइम पर डायग्नोस्टिक सर्विस वेरी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड इन आवर स्टेट. तो एक्चुअली द एक्सपेंशन स्टार्टेड देयर इटसेल्फ, बिकॉज हम हर 2-4 साल में एक नया इक्विपमेंट लाने की कोशिश किए, मॉडर्न इक्विपमेंट जो हमारे स्टेट में नहीं था. तो आपको ये बताना ज़रूरी है कि हर कोई डायग्नोस्टिक इक्विपमेंट, बी इट इन द लैब और इन रेडियोलॉजी, उड़ीसा में फर्स्ट टाइम के लिए हम ही लाए थे. तो ये एक पाथवे था टू अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस एंड कैसे हम अच्छा इक्विपमेंट ला के अच्छा सर्विस दे सके पब्लिक को. तो ज़रूर ये एक प्रोसेस ऑफ एक्सपेंशन था. और 2019 में जब मैंने रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस छोड़ के इसमें होल हार्टेडली डेडिकेटेडली आ गया, तो इट इज़ वेरी इजी फॉर मी बिकॉज आई न्यू द अप्स एंड डाउन्स फॉर द पास्ट सो मेनी ईयर्स. So the idea was to use the past experience to quickly provide statewide availability of diagnostic services.
सो पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस से मुझे याद आया था, अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आस्क मी आल्सो कि यू आर अ डॉक्टर, यू हैव डन एमबीबीएस एंड पीजी, व्हाई नॉट गो ऑन प्रैक्टिस एंड व्हाई यू वांट टू गेट इनटू एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप? सो मैं भी तब बोला, आपको देखकर आई एम रेडी गूज़बम्प्स, बिकॉज़ आई यूज्ड टू से कि अभी अगर इंडिया में हम देखें, फिर वर्ल्ड वाइड भी देखें, देयर आर हेल्थ एंड मेडटेक कंपनीज स्टार्टेड बाय इंजीनियर्स एंड एमबीए पीपल. बट जब तक खुद डॉक्टर आके इनोवेशंस एंड इसमें नहीं घुसेगा, कि वो जो एक्सपीरियंस होता है वो नहीं रहेगा, तब तक वी कांट स्केल. जब फर्स्ट सीजन सेकंड सीजन स्टार्ट टाइम या खत्म हो गया है, हार्डली वी सी डॉक्टर को फाउंडर्स, इफ यू अग्री टू बी ऑन दैट.
Yes.
एंड वी नीड डॉक्टर्स, इन सब लोग उसी रैट रेस में लगे हुए हैं कि एमबीबीएस कर ले, पीजी कर ले. पर उसमें क्या हो रहा है, इट्स फाइन, आई एम नो ऑपोज टू दैट, पर उसमें प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, हमारा इनोवेशन उसमें नहीं बढ़ रहा है. Because we are not having doctor founders who can start or build something which people need. Because मुझे भी आजकल I get people asking me on LinkedIn, we need a doctor co-founder or a medical doctor, because उनको वो experience पता नहीं है. And आप तो देखिए that you are a, like I want to say is like a motivation or a setting example for people or basically the doctors community who can start something of their own if they have something in mind, because experience matters करता है when we are starting something.
ज़रूर, because without experience it's extremely difficult to start and run something. So I'll tell you a small story. Why? Yeah, I think your question is directed at why I entered the business side of medicine and diagnostics generally. So I was in Delhi once, way back, 1996, 97, and with a group of doctor friends in Delhi, and they started ridiculing me by saying that what kind of a state are you from? You people don't even have a MRI in the whole state. So of course they were friends, so it was basically said in jest. But I felt my pride was a little hurt. So when you bring up motivation and why I entered this, element of pride as well, because I also wanted our state to have the best possible equipment at that point of time. So when I came back from Delhi in '97, I made up my mind to install a MRI in Cuttack, in Odisha. And 98, 99, we managed to bring in a reasonably priced MRI in those days. And that was the first MRI of Odisha. So that's one aspect, where you have this urge to deliver good quality services to the people. Secondly, yes, in another way, putting it another way, I am a gynecologist obstetrician, so my diagnostic relevance is restricted to ultrasound. So the question then arose that why is a obstetrician gynecologist going into radiology, like CT scan, MRI, and other forms of lab and everything. So again, the same story. I had a little bit of inclination towards medical electronics and innovations. Having gone outside Odisha, having seen some centers in India uh, doing relatively advanced diagnostic procedures and all. So yes, that also helped me decide that we should have in our own state. And yes, I agree. It was not always sense of delivery of services to people. There's an element of business as well. I sense that the future could be financially beneficial as a company as well, as a corporate as well. So yes, that was also there, that how to provide good service and yet make a business out of it so that it becomes self-sustaining. You earn, you recycle money into more advanced equipment, and so that eventually your ultimate goal of providing quality diagnostics, both lab and radiology, is fulfilled.
So, sir, like whenever you start something, what I feel, there's a very important role of the family. So, I want to know, like, what were the forces which kept you moving on in family, or who was your biggest criticizer? Because I feel if you are starting something, you need a good criticizer. Okay, so what was their role in you taking up such a leap?
In my case, I would disagree because I'll tell you, my grandfather apparently was a doctor. This I'm not very sure because I never saw him, but my grandmother used to tell me that he's some form of a doctor. Again, both my parents were doctors. Okay. So I am a doctor, my wife is a doctor, and two of my children are also doctors.
So,
So yeah, we come from a family of doctors. But the relevant part is that my parents, my father and mother, especially my mother, was a pioneer in gynecology obstetrics in her own way in that time. So she, for example, brought in. They used to work in SCB Medical College. My father was the head of the department. My mother was the professor one or two, or whatever they were called in those days. And she was instrumental in bringing in uh, laparoscopy in obstetrics in gynecology to the state. So maybe I inherited that from them as well.
that was in the gene.
Yes, yes. And there was a desire to bring in new technology right from those days. And probably I grew up seeing that. And that's what kept me going.
No, sir, but never you felt कि नहीं मुझे भी इतना उम्र हो गया है. Do I have someone to take this thing ahead if I'm starting it? Because एक डर रहता है लोगों का when they start something. So these things are always stuck their mind. So आपको कभी ऐसा लगा है कि कौन आगे लेगा मेरा legacy and or what you are planning or how you are back to automate it? ऐसा कुछ thoughts you have?
Uh, See, I'm 62. I still feel that I have a few more years to go.
More years.
Yeah, no, life can be unpredictable, right? So, but optimistically speaking, few more years, yes. So let's say if we take a time frame of 5 years, That is enough to achieve a lot of things. And the dream was when I started the expansion of the diagnostics in Odisha was to have one center in each district, which would make it a good number of diagnostic centers across Odisha. So in the next 5 years, I feel that if things go well, then at least part of the dream can be fulfilled. You have to understand that we started out in 2020, and that is when COVID hit us. So 2 to 3 years, 2.5 years went away in COVID, where in spite of everything, we could establish 3 centers. That put a lot of pressure on us, but yes, we could manage to do it. And if I go at this pace or increase the pace a little, then setting up another 10 centers in the next 5 years is not impossible.
So talking about expansion, so after Vetak, you started opening centers in Jajpur, and if I'm not right in the chronology also, Jajpur, Bhubaneswar, Sambalpur, and Rengana, right?
Yes.
So what are the challenges you face now? Like running one center and running 4 centers and 4 to 5 centers. Is there obviously it happens that when we expand a business, there is a problem in quality. So is Sun also focusing on the quality standards or opening core centers and Patak को neglect किया जा रहा है ऐसा कुछ है या नहीं? Or how are you maintaining it?
Yeah, it's cliched, but that's an excellent question because quality is very important. Because on the basis of our reports, treatments are applied. So the report is initially wrong when it becomes difficult for the treating consultant to give correct treatment. So what we did was, way back in 2015, we became the first diagnostic center in Odisha, and if I'm not wrong, in the whole eastern region, to be accredited by NABH. 2015, right? So that was way back, 10 years back. And our next center, Jajpur, is also NABH accredited. And NABH, as you know, is the prime quality accreditation body in healthcare in our country. And wherever we open a center, we try to get a accreditation by NABH so that quality standards are maintained. Yeah, that's how we try and give good quality service.
So there's no compromise on quality, maybe a newer center or a 20-year-old center.
No, not really, because the standards are set and the accreditation is done every 2 years. So we have to be on our toes. We can't afford to relax. Yeah, the other part of your question was how difficult it is to manage multiple centers. And I would say yes. The biggest challenge is to get good manpower.
The team building, which is
Yes, both in managerial side and on the clinical side, to make sure that the work ethics are maintained, moral values are maintained, proper diligence to finances, management, and also clinical reporting is also maintained. It's not an easy job, and therein lies the challenge.
So talking about reports, like few days back, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. He's a AI/ML engineer. He works in US for a health company. So what he was inferring me like Samir in future, बहुत जल्दी there will be artificial intelligence doing the reporting and all. So what's your take? What's your take? Or what will Sun do in that case?
Fully agreed with you. It's a matter of time. The way AI is progressing, and since radiology especially is 99% digital, all the images are captured as digital information. It's just a matter of time before AI starts producing reports as good as human radiologists.
And faster also.
Yes, of course. Of course. And I'll share one experience with you. I was in talks with a group of Russian scientists about a year back, and they told me that 60% of mammography reports in Russia is already done by AI. And they proved it to me by asking me to upload a few images from our center. Of course, we anonymized the data and all that. And they said, give us 2 minutes for each report. And then you compare with the report which you've already issued by your radiologists. Absolutely correct.
Exactly. And basically, like you sir mentioned, a radiologist is someone who is the right hand for a surgeon or any other medical fraternity. And these people are very much dependent on radiologists. So जितना जल्दी reporting और जितना सही से होगा, like आजकल they are very good into accuracy, and there is no doubt the AI is beating the human manpower in when it comes to skill. So what are the plans for Sun in future? Are you planning to integrate AI into your reporting team?
We have to. We don't have an option. Because most of the machines now are in the basic, are equipped with basic AI. As of now, right now. And if you look at the exponential progress of AI, I think in 5 years' time, most machines will come built in with a reporting capability as well, which is good because then what happens is the radiologist has got more time to ensure quality. Because then they can do correlations manually, they can do many things, and ultimately the report which patient gets will be even more accurate than what we're doing right now.
And also the patient, we can serve more people and we can serve goods. Like what I vision is like in my next podcast, like you would be saying, okay, we are the first center in Odisha getting AI integrated reporting. I don't.
That's quite
Because you are a
possible.
tech savvy person. Because someone who's not tech savvy, he won't do that, right?
That's quite possible because if it comes, then and if it is reasonably priced, of course, affordability is always an issue. I would embrace AI in radiology with open arms.
Exactly. So talking about tech, one more a lot of my viewers have this doubt. Earlier, people used to go and get reports physically. Now these days, reports come on WhatsApp, your mail, and there's some amount that there is a possibility of hacking them. So on data privacy, what is your take on that? When it comes to data privacy, someone's reports, especially someone who is positive with maybe a triple H positive and all, and that breaks this thing. So what's your report take on privacy?
Government has to come out with a policy on health data privacy. I think there is always already some framework already available, but it is very flimsy and adherence to the policies across the country is almost non-existent. We have to go with maybe the US model where they are extremely sort of compliant with privacy laws. Data hacking, data leakage is punishable to a very large extent. So unless that comes in, and I don't see how we can prevent data being accessed by stakeholders who are not supposed to have them. So the government has to start, and the policies have to be set, the punishments have to be established, so that all of us try and adhere to whatever policy government sets. And it's very important that data privacy is in healthcare, especially, should be, because it's a very personal thing. A patient definitely does not want his data to be shared with anyone except with doctors who are treating him. And your question is very relevant. Right now, we are completely porous. Every health data available on various systems, and I think it's available to everyone because we don't even understand the concept of privacy in this country as of now.
And also, we can't again go back to the age-gap model of someone coming and taking the reports, because we always took convenience over privacy. So, okay, if I get my report on Instagram, sorry, on WhatsApp, and then with that, I will not go to the center because I prefer convenience. So you can't just take the, like, I think Sun is also sending reports over.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And yes, we are concerned about that as well. Um, we have only basic protection now because the data which we send over to the patient is accessible through a PIN or a password. So in that way it is protected. But if you go back even to the more basic aspect of privacy, if you walk into any hospital today, you'll see that a medical file of a patient is accessible right to the lowest rung of the employee of the hospital to the highest. Whereas, technically speaking, it should not be accessible to another doctor as well in the same hospital. Only your treating doctor and your treating nurse is supposed to be accessing your data. So, diagnostic reports going out is one thing, but we are have a huge shortcoming even at a very basic level as of now.
So like you mentioned, like you wanted to expand. Okay. So what do you see? What's the scope in Odisha? Or you have plans of after conquering Odisha, go out of Odisha? I want to know how is how do you capitalize the market? What's the vision for the market of diagnostics in Odisha?
Massive. Because there is a huge, see, we have a lot of diagnostic centers, let's say in Cuttack, Barampur, Sambalpur, not even Sambalpur, and Bhubaneswar. For example, Sambalpur, I think we are the only diagnostic center worth speaking about in such a large area, Western Odisha. The nearest similar kind of diagnostic center would be in Raukela. So, what I'm trying to say is that if you combine delivery of healthcare as diagnostics and business, I feel there is a tremendous scope. And as I said, at least one good diagnostic center in every district is a must. And when I said earlier that I'm focusing on the next 5 years as my immediate goal of expansion, I think I'm restricting it to Orissa only at the moment. Let's see after 5 years if the drive is still there. Then yes, we can go into other states as well, and outside the country as well. That possibility is always there, because we did a little work on that a couple of years back around Wooden Fall. So we are exploring a diagnostic center in a place near Athens in Greece, where a friend of mine stays. And he had offered that, yes, if you set up a center, you have to look after it. Eminently possible to set up a center in a place like that as well.
So have you ever thought of Geese Drills very famous? Like someone who builds a brand, they're into selling franchises. So I have this thing struck your mind that I also, if I want to expand, I want to go and give franchises of front diagnostics, make it a trademark registered brand and give the franchises and
To be very frank, I have not thought about that. But if that model is doable, profitable to both the franchisee and the franchisor, then why not? It can be done as well.
So, sir, what do you feel like? Who is the your biggest competition? If I ask, like now in Odisha.
Now there's a lot of competition, but I would like to compare myself only with those competitors who are providing good quality in health diagnostics and medical diagnostics. Run of the mill small centers are there all over, and they will continue to be there. But each city will have 3 to 4 centers who strive to provide good quality services, and they are actually our competitors. So, to stay on top, yes, we have to bring in the best possible equipment at reasonable prices. And at the moment, most definitely, the human element is still important.
Yes.
So, good radiologists, good lab technicians, good radiology technicians, that will keep us ahead of the rest.
Okay. So, like you said, a very important thing: a human involvement and team building. So, like the young generation, those who are like going into business and planning or starting something of their own. So, what is your mantra when you hire someone or when you build a team? What do you look in a person?
Honesty and integrity to start with.
But sir, I think to know the honesty in an interview is very difficult. Like when you take an interview.
But then you can't overlook it. That should be the starting point, and then obviously the technical ability, both in the managerial side and the technical side. So otherwise, what happens that if you are in the hands of somebody either on this side or that side, who's not does not have integrity, honesty, and ethical values, and it affects your outputs. At the end of it, if you want to generate a good, accurate report, unless let's say the radiologist is honest to his job and strongly believes in quality, how can you get a good report? So yes, we do look for that in the initials. I agree with you. It's difficult in today's, environment to get such people, but we should try and keep looking.
Because what happens these days, a lot of people, like if we talk about my father's generation, That time everyone is like, okay, we will do a job or we'll not start something of our own. These days it's like people, okay, if I know, if I'm technically sound, if I have the market idea and if I have money, then I can start of something of their own. So then these days hiring someone becomes so difficult, because if someone learns the thing from you and he or she goes and starts something of their own, and how do you avoid, or how do you make sure that the person stays with you if he is of more value?
Fully agreed with you on that. These things do happen, and there's a old saying in English that the grass is greener on the other side. Something like it appears to be this business, the diagnostic business appears to be an easy business, and uh, it appears there's a lot of money which the promoter makes. But if you want me to address the younger generation, please understand it's a very difficult business to, as difficult as any other business, frankly. So, two things. One, as I said, good manpower and a very good system to follow, both on the clinical side and the managerial side. So, you have to start with that base and then you can improve on that.
So talking about starting something, like when you started your first center in Cuttack in 1994, and when you opened some 20 in when you opened other four centers, what's your say, or what did you feel it was easier, because was there something force which helped you, or there was some government programs, or what was your say on this, like when the government help, has the things changed over these ready years, the policies or these things?
Way back in 1994, no bank would lend you money to start a business, a medical business. So, in our case, the only financial support which we got was from the government, believe it or not, from an organization called Odisha State Financial Corporation and Epicov in Bhubaneswar. So these were the only people who were prepared to take the risk. Of course, at to lack of a better word, atrocious interest rates. But they did give us a start. So it was difficult in that way to generate funding for medical equipment, advanced medical equipment, expensive medical equipment. Nowadays, it's much easier. You have banks, you have non-banking financial institutions who fund you, and it's easy. If your track record is good, getting funds is not an issue anymore. On the flip side, of course, regulations have become very strict. So, for example, if you want to set up a hospital, at the last count, I think we had to get one would have to get more than 20 clearances from various departments, starting from trade licenses to fire licenses and all. So, getting those through from government departments has its own challenges, and sometimes we are not compliant to that extent as well. So, making ourselves compliant to obtain these licenses is again a challenge. But these difficulties are there, but they are surmountable. It's not that it cannot be done.
Okay, so like talking about the government programs, like what's your idea, or how the Ayushman Bharat or the BSBOI scheme helping diagnostics?
But diagnostics, not directly, but both schemes are focused on only one thing, that if it's possible in some way to provide universal health care of some quality to the patient. So it's not that this is better than that. I would say both the programs, BSPI of course is no longer there now, but our hospital was with BSKY for almost 3 years, and we have had good experience. I have seen patients who earlier who could not have come to our hospital to avail treatment because of financial issues, uh, definitely coming in and us providing the same quality of service to them as well. And I'm sure now that Ayushman Bharat has come into Odisha, the same kind of service can be provided to the patients as well.
So basically, the patient healthcare, I mean, these people have the confidence. Like earlier, if someone gets disease in your home, and if you are from the middle class, you have a headache. Like, okay, there's a lot of money which should be spent. Now, after these schemes for me, people are being vocal. They go for diagnosis, they go for management, surgeries, etc. Right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the good thing is that these are the people who earlier would be financially destroyed if they would have to pay cash to a hospital of, let's say, some station. So now they're getting this free of cost, which is very important. So therefore, we're directly through these schemes able to provide solace to a lot of people who earlier would have missed out on that. So it's a wonderful initiative. And if you club that with the health insurance, which has also come into India in a big way now, I think we are probably one of the better equipped countries to provide healthcare to our citizens.
Because what I see in healthcare, like I mean, also being from the same industry, जितना करो उतना कम है. There's a lot of scope. We go on opening hospitals, diagnostic centers, but the number of people getting disease that also increases. Or maybe there's a saying that earlier also the disease was there. आजकल पता चल जा रहा है कि वो बीमार है. पहले अगर कोई मरता था तो हम बोलते कि वो मर गया, ऐसे उम्र हो गया था. अभी पता था कि हाँ ये उसको उम्र भी होता और उसको कैंसर भी था. So that is the thing, but this thing goes on increasing, like number of patients and everything, because the lack or the shortage will always remain, I guess.
अब पहले अपना हमारा our problem is our population, right? So it compressed in a very small land mass. हम आज के दिन में I think 150 touching 150 crores today. So providing healthcare to 150 crores it's a huge challenge. Compared to that, I think the population of US, let's say, is probably 1/4 of this, if I'm not wrong. And they have resources way beyond what we possess. But again, having said that, if you look at elective treatments, for example, if you have let's say if you have a gallstone, today in Bhubaneswar, you have 30 different options of where to go and get it operated in reasonably good setups. And you can get an appointment with a doctor in a couple of days max, and you can schedule your surgery in 7 days. Whereas you compare to US, UK, Europe, they are nowhere close. They are much worse off than us. However, having said that, our gap in India is emergency services. We have a long way to go there, and the West has overtaken us there in a big way.
After listening to this, one of my friends, she just flew back last week just to have a ACL reconstruction because she was in Germany. She didn't get a date for her MRI for from last 4 weeks. But here she or else if she would have done this there, it would have been for free. But she came like all the way because the pain she was unbearable.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I just said that if you look at elective planned surgeries, planned diagnostics, today India is one of the better destinations to, and this is a message maybe to people, if somebody from, like you said, from US, UK, Europe is seeing this, we should come in because we provide the same level of expertise, the same equipment which the US or the West uses. Doctors are very well trained here, and you get much better kind of service in terms of time management and all that in India today.
So like you mentioned, there's a lot of scope in India. People have more have options of hands-on. But then why do we feel in the last few years there have been some amount of brain drain of doctors from India to outside of India? So what do you think? What's the main cause? Because you being from both the sides, you have being an employer also and you have been an employee also. So what do you think? Why people, if they get the easily US family cleared up that they fly back from India?
Money. To be very frank, doctors are extremely underpaid in India. I'm sorry to say.
Yes, yeah.
With the effort we put in to become doctors, which is 15 years at the bare minimum, what we get paid is a pittance. And I think those people who manage to go abroad and have the means to do so are going abroad only because of that.
Because the time and the experience they give, it's not worth it. They're not even the worth.
I would say that really, but who doesn't like money? And if you manage to land a job somewhere in the US or in Europe or UK, which pays you 10 times for your effort, you would go.
And also the quality.
I would go. Even now.
And also the quality of life. That is also what I feel is
Yes.
OCD plus.
We are a little privileged because we're sitting in Bhubaneswar. Quality of life is reasonably okay. If you're in Delhi, it's still better, and in the bigger cities. But look at the doctors who are posted in the smaller towns, and they don't even have a decent school to send their kids to. So yes, that money and quality of life both motivate some people to apply.
And also, sir, someone who is an experienced surgeon or a medical physician going to a tier 2, tier 3 place, they don't have a facility in the district hospitals to use their knowledge or use their experience, right?
But we have come a long way. 20 years back, the district hospitals used to be pretty ill equipped. Fortunately, with government's focus on healthcare, I find, and I've gone around and seen as well, for example, in Jajpur, the district hospital, there's a new medical college coming up there, already operational, I think. So, little bit of quality and little bit of technology is definitely flowing into the districts. So, therefore, if somebody is posted to a tier 3 or 4 today, he's much better off than he was 20 years back.
So, like seeing your energy and ambition, I can't stop myself from asking this. Like, are you planning to deep dive into the hospital sector, also building your own hospital chain?
Most definitely, because primarily I am a doctor and a physician. I mean, in the sense that.
And also a family of doctors.
Yes. So, and we started out with the hospital.
Yeah.
So, the Sun Hospital in Cuttack, which is our, our temple, family temple, I would say, was started by my father and mother way back in 1978. So, if there is a possibility of expanding the hospital chain as well, I would definitely consider doing that.
So sir, it was great knowing from you इतना सारा चीज पर मेरा एक बुरी आदत है कि I bother the guest with my myth and facts question. Okay, so that's the favorite part of the show. So we have some quick myth and facts question. And sir, आप तो पूरा confident है you will be answering them all like.
No, that is not always possible. I might go wrong somewhere, but then that's part of life.
Okay. So sir, my first question is.
Yes.
People think that diagnostic center is only for the sick.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So it's a myth.
It is a myth.
Okay. So someone can go for preventive.
Of course, it's a pause.
Okay. Coming to the second question, many think that lab tests are very expensive.
You have to pay for quality.
So it's a myth.
It's a myth.
Okay. So we are hearing that a lot of people these days have home kits. Okay. So do you think in future home kits will take away the importance of diagnostic centers?
Not really, because you see, I'll give an example. You can't have a MRI machine at your home, right? So you have to go to a diagnostic center too. Yes.
So it's again a myth. So my last and important question is, so all the tests which comes positive in a diagnostic test are positive?
By and large, yes. If you have maintained quality standards as prescribed by, authorities, most tests will come correct.
So it's a fact.
It's a fact.
So thank you sir for all your time and giving us so much insights. So अगर last चीज you want to say to the audience, what will be your last line or take home message for us?
That health is important, and the longer you remain healthy, the more productive you are.
So it's a very important line. I'll also take into my notes. So guys, मुझको लगता है कि आपका बहुत सारा डाउट्स क्लियर हो गया होगा फ्रॉम द लेजेंड हिमसेल्फ. अगर आपको और भी डाउट्स है सो यू कैन राइट इन द कमेंट. एंड अगर आपको लग रहा है कि यू हैव एनी डिजीज सो डोंट हेजिटेट from visiting a doctor and then getting your diagnosis done at Sun Diagnostics. Thank you.